Okay, so what I currently have in my viewport is a model which I downloaded from a website, and it's not that kind of detailed model, but that's fine for us. So with my object selected, I'm gonna go to export, and export selected, and make sure that flip YZ axis is on, and I'm gonna set export. Then in Marvelous Designer, I'm gonna press Ctrl Shift A to bring in my avatar, and this time I'm gonna select centimeter for the scale and hit OK. Alright, I'm gonna make the garment for this object as one piece. So I'm gonna grab my rectangle tool and draw a rectangle roughly this size. Then I'm gonna hit on this sync button, and now let's go to Gizmo and local Gizmo and bring this one up. Okay, now hit a spacebar so it falls down on this one. I'm gonna grab this tool and scale this one up and hit the spacebar again. Okay, then I'm gonna stretch it from this side. Now let's increase the particle distance so it's a little bit faster to simulate. Now let's also stretch this one. Okay, just to make sure that this one is not hitting the ground, I'm gonna go to Scene, and under the simulation property, make sure that ground is off, collision with the ground, so hit the space again. Alright, now this should be fine. Let's increase this side again. Great. Now with my object selected, I'm gonna go to its property, so this one selected, and make it elastic. Now I'm gonna change the strength of this one and also the ratio, bring it down. I probably need to stretch this side a bit more. Okay, now bring down the ratio. Alright, now let me increase the ratio for a second. Now I click and hold my W key on the keyboard and press and click so I can pin a point. In fact, let's get off the elastic mode for right now and pin 4 points. Okay, so this should be fine. Now I'm gonna select my object again and bring back the elastic feature. Bring down the ratio again. I'm not really worried about those pinpoints, even though I'm gonna remove it and let the simulation go for a couple of frames, since I'm gonna be putting a couple of pillows there, so that's not gonna be my concern. I could also add a couple of points here. Or you could also grab this tool and select some of these and bring them inside and try to simulate again. Great. Now press Ctrl W. But before that, let me get out of the simulation mode and select my object, go to particle distance and type in 5. Great. Now click on this button and I'll pause the video since it's going to take a couple of seconds, and I'll be back. Okay, so I paused the simulation. Now what I want to do is to go back to simulation property and make the collision on. Also, I'm going to go back to fabric, select my fabric, and under the detail, let's go down and increase the density. Okay, now let's go back to scene. So what I'm gonna do now is to press Ctrl W to remove all the pins, and I let it simulate for a couple of frames and pause the video and I'll show you the result. Okay, what I noticed here is that we have a little bit of gap. So I'm gonna disable the sync and click on this curve. I'm gonna make this one just a little curve, and also this one, and this one, as well as this one. Then again, I'm gonna continue the simulation, pause the video, and get back to you when it's done. Okay, so the simulation took longer than I expected, so I brought in my original version, and I still have the points. I mean, I removed it, but you could let go the pins and simulate for a couple of frames, so you won't have those kind of pinching. But again, since I'm gonna be putting some pillows there, no one's gonna notice those. And here's the finished piece. So now what I'm gonna do is to export this one out. I'm gonna export it as 4max, And in the settings, I'm not gonna include the avatar, and that's a single object, but on there doesn't make any difference since we only have one pattern here, and that's gonna be thin unified UV coordinates and centimeter. Then I'm gonna go OK. Let's minimize this one, and in the mesh lab I'm gonna go import mesh and import the object that I just exported. Okay. Let's go to filters, remeshing, and let's go to decimation. I have 200,000 faces, so I'm gonna keep only, let's see, probably 20%. And preserve topology, everything is fine. Let's go apply. Okay, so it's done. Let's close this one. Then I'm gonna go export mesh as and select for max again. Yes. And hit OK here. Make sure that we have the texture coordinates.